my desire, whole raison d'etre, my reason for being, is to develop this employee assistance program concept, which is going to be a centralized intake unit that's going to then channel referrals into the correct receptacles. Counseling unit for alcohol problems, psychological services for psychiatric or psychological problems, and down the line. You know, there are many units that handle all kinds of problems that police will deal with, but there's no central place. So that's my design. Unbeknownst to me, there's intrapersonal conflict going on in the counseling unit between some of the staff and Monsignor Dunn, who was the director. And it got so heated that the staff brought it to the attention of the police commissioner. They went directly to him. The outcome of it was Monsignor Dunn told the fellow who was running the program on a day-to-day basis to retire. Made him put his papers in and retire. Somehow or other, the police commissioner had a different reaction to that. He called Monsignor Dunn down to his office, and he told him to step aside from the program. He no longer wanted him to be in charge of it. Dunn started that program in 1960, and all of a sudden now, it's 1980, 20 years later, he's telling him to step out and go back and be a chaplain. You're not going to be involved in this unit. Now they have nobody in charge of the unit. I'm physically sitting up in the office, but I don't want anything to do with that unit other than developing the more grandiose concept of EAP. April 28th, 1980, I walk in the office, and one of the staff members walks up to me and says, "Congratulations, Lieutenant. You're now the director of the counseling unit." And my initial reaction to it was, "You got to be kidding. You got that wrong. It's a teletype or a telephone message." So I called my brother on the phone, who was the first deputy commissioner. And I said, "There's a mistake here someplace." And he said to me, "There's no mistake. McGuire wants you in that position. You're a lieutenant. You're in recovery. You got a background in this thing. You got one of those CACs, and all, so you take it over. You run it. The first order of business for you, Jimmy, is go over to the PBA and straighten out the union backlash to Monsignor Dunn and this intrapersonal conflict that was going on with a guy who used to be, I think he was a delegate. He was a friend of the PBA. The PBA got so angry at what Dunn did, they cut off the funding to the program. They used to pay for rehab, or they'd lend you the money, and the cop would have to pay it back. So in effect, they crippled the program. The PBA got the other unions together, Sergeants, Lieutenants, and Captains Association. They got together. They used to provide money for the unit, for the program, for the unit via the police relief fund, and they stopped the funding unilaterally. No more funding. So now you have a unit that has no funding for rehabilitation. So my brother tells me, "You have to go straighten out the relationship." And I'm thinking of what to do. How am I going to do this? Brand new in the job. The idea comes to me, take my wife and my children. I have a boy and a girl, son and a daughter. My wife, my son, and my daughter. And I get a video camera, and I go up to Veritas Villa, which is Jim Cusack's rehab. I graduated from his first place, Glen Acre Lodge. So I go up there 11 years later now. I got through the program 11 years earlier. Now I'm in charge of it 11 years later. So I go up there with my video camera and my wife and kids, and I'm taking video pictures of my wife and children all over the villa. Not taking pictures of the people, but the environment. And I'm sorry, it wasn't a video camera. It was a still camera because I made slides. And then I called the PBA, who was very distrustful toward me and the program and whatever. And I asked them if I could make a presentation to them. And I went in and they gave me the ability to do that. They made an appointment. I went in and made a presentation to all of the hierarchy of the Police Patrolmen's Benevolent Association, PBA. I brought the slideshow with me. And I was talking to them about what rehab is and how important it is. And it was the fall by this time. It was near the fall because the leaves were changing, and I remember that. And I was showing family, and that was the theme of how this rehab and these programs reunite family systems. And so and not only jobs, but family systems. So it's important for you guys. So that was my approach. And at the end of my presentation, I broke my own anonymity, told them that I was one of these guys that they helped 11 years earlier. So I appealed to them to please reunite the funding. Meet with the heads of the unions and reunite the funding. I knew as soon as I get back to the office, I get a phone call and they did it. They reunited the funding.